In my last video I told you that February is the month to start sowing. Today we are getting our hands dirty. I am sowing some lettuce seeds, some radishes, some brassicas, so let's get sowing. Before we start we need three things. We need our seed starting mix. We will need a fluffy mix for those delicate roots. We will need some seed trays, and of course don't forget we will need seeds. So first I will fill this tray. After filling two seed trays, and one seed tray has 60 modules, so with two I could end up with 120 plants if I put one seed in one module, of course. But before I will sow, I will always make it wet. So first start with lettuce seeds. They are very tiny. So they are very tiny. You don't need to put them in too deep. They just need some light to germinate. And I will try and aim for 2 seeds per module. Of course you can also sow them into a container. I've been sowing 4 different varieties of salads, and as you can see the seeds are on the surface, and I will just gently press it with my fingers. You don't need to bury them because they need some light to germinate, so just push it a little bit with your fingers. And if it's wet, make sure that the seeds don't stick onto your fingers, otherwise you're mixing your varieties, and yeah, afterwards you don't know what seed you are growing. I will sow some celery, and yeah, these seeds are even smaller as the salad leaves. So as you can see, these seeds are very tiny. So, and here I am aiming for 5 seeds, and afterwards I can choose the most strongest one, the vigorous one. And also these seeds, you don't need to bury them. So the rough manner to do so, just watch the seed. If it's a seed of 1 inch, for example, you will put it roughly 1 inch into the soil. But yeah, this is very small. So in this last module I will sow radishes. These seeds are, as you can see, bigger as the salad leaves. And here I'm doing some multi-sowing, so I'm aiming for 2 to 3 seeds per module. and this radish seed you can put them a little bit into the soil because the seed is a lot bigger as those lettuce seeds. So for the radish seeds I will bury them into the soil, into our seed starting mix. So our first module is ready. So in this module we are going to sow spinach, and also here, yeah, the seeds, they are a lot bigger as the first one. So I make some small holes where I can put in the seeds. And also here I'm aiming for 2 seeds per module, and afterwards I can choose the strongest one. I will just snip off a part of our seedling. So our spinach seeds are in it, and also our lettuce seed and our radish. And why would you sow this early on into the season? Because yeah, in the summer salads and spinach and radishes will flower immediately. So yeah, these vegetables are great for in the beginning of our growing season, and towards the end it's also great to sow. But yeah, definitely spinach, it will flower in May or June, so you can sow the second crop of spinach in August when the flowering stage is over for the spinach. So now I will do a sowing of broccolis, and as I mentioned, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules in this length, and I will sow 2 rows, so I could end up with 12 broccoli plants. And yeah, later on you need to sow again to get the spread harvest, of course. Also here I'm aiming for 2 seeds per module, and afterwards we can take the most vigorous one. I will sow cauliflower, and all the brassicas has the same seeds actually. If you put them together you can see what kind of brassica you are sowing. So a very handy tip is to use these labels, and I will put them in the description if you want to use the same labels. And maybe another tip, instead of writing it with a marker, just use a pencil, and afterwards you can remove it just with your fingers or with Also here aiming for 2 seeds per module, so we have a greater rate of success. And our last cabbage is the pointy cabbage, the white one. And then our second tray is also filled with seeds. Afterwards, when they have all been sowed, I will take the seed trays indoors just for the germination process, and as fast as they germinate I will take them here into the greenhouse or in the smaller polytunnel, because they are cold hardy, and if you put them too long inside in a warm environment, especially with brassicas, you will get leggy vegetable seeds, small seedlings, but very leggy. You don't want something like that because they are a lot weaker. So our last cabbage sowing, the pointy cabbage. Also here 2 seeds per module, So I just push the hole a little bit close. So of course you don't need to sow in such a modules. You can actually sow in some growing containers, and like for example salads, you fill the containers and then you sprinkle the seeds on top of the surface, cover it a tiny bit because they need light to germinate. So you also can sow into one of these. I just think this is very handy, and just to make sure to label your seedlings, because afterwards you forget what you have sown, and you will come to surprises into your garden. So I will list these labels in the description, and like I mentioned, I will show you. This one I marked it with a marker, but to remove it you need to clean it a lot. It's tedious work, so I always use a pencil, and so it's already gone, so you can write new seedlings on this label. And I'm using them now for 3 years and they are still going strong. So if you're interested in one of the labels, I will put them into the description. For now, I will take them indoors, like I mentioned, just to germinate. When they do germinate, they come back here into the greenhouse. Don't forget to label your seedlings, so you know what you have been sowing back in the days. Keep the soil just moist. I only water it once. You have seen me doing it, and they will be there for when they are germinated, and then you need to keep an eye out on the moisture level. So don't make it too wet, otherwise it can be soggy and they can rot. So just moist, it's okay. So there you have it, my February sowings. Of course we do a lot more sowings into February to keep a supply of food when the growing season is starting. If you have learned something, or if you have any questions, ask them down below in the comments. I will answer them all. And for now I would say happy gardening and see you in the next